Hey everybody, welcome to the Garrett County 4-H camper orientation. If you were unable to make it on the for the June 29th, 2026 at the Garrett County Extension Office orientation, this will serve as your orientation. And so this we hope that you can get all your answers or all your questions answered. And if you have any questions following this, please reach out to me. My email address is eric, eric.comley, COMLEY at uky.edu. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see, we will be departing on July the 13th, 2026. We'll be going to North Central 4-H Camp, which is located in Carlisle, Kentucky. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, depending on how you travel from here. So we should arrive later on in the morning if we depart on time. It says there, please arrive by 8 a.m. and come to the teaching kitchen to begin the process. We'll have signs and everything set up for that process, but we're actually going to get started around 7:30. So if you want to show up at 7:30, you'll just need to make sure that as you come through, you either bring your luggage with you or you leave it in a spot so that you can make sure it gets in the proper spot at the end. Loading your luggage will be the last thing that you do. So when you come into the teaching kitchen, there will be a couple of tables that are set up there. Those tables will have your name tag. That name tag will have your name, your cabin number, your team number, your classes, all the four classes that you'll be taking, plus your bonus class. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then you'll also be able to turn in your medication. There is a medication form, and your medication should be in a Ziploc bag. With that medication form, the medicine in the original container, please. And then if there's any changes to the dosage, that should be accompanied by a note from the physician, not from the parent, not from the guardian, but from the physician that makes a note of those changes. If there's any additional signatures that we need as far as your pickup release forms, that's the best time to do that now, or the best time to do that on that morning. So that'll be July 13th, and we'll start in the teaching kitchen. Once you leave there, you'll go to the main room, which would be room 2 and 3. That main room will be where we'll do our head checks for lice. The Garrett County Health Department will be here to do those checks, and we'll have some additional people that will be on site to do those as well. And so the University of Kentucky policy, and I'll send that out or put a link to that in the link that I send out or the information that I send out. The policy is basically that a child that has eggs or any stage of life, eggs, nymphs, all the way up to adults, they are not permitted to go to camp. That's with a doctor's excuse, whatever it might be. If you take them and you go through the process of cleaning and all of that kind of thing, then we can't take them at camp. After you've been checked and you've been cleared, a sticker will be placed on your name tag, and then that's when you will go out to the back of the building or the awning on the back side of the building by the attached garage, and you'll take your luggage there. Boys' luggage, cabins 9 and 14, and girls' cabin 19 will go in the county van. Girls' luggage for cabins 6, 7, and 8 will go in the U-Haul truck that will be there. So this is the QR code for the camp medication form. So if you can fill it out online, or you can pick up a physical copy um, when you're at the first part of the check-in session or check-in for the morning of camp. So either way that you want to do it, we'll have Ziploc bags there. You also need to include a picture in the medication stuff. So a picture of your child, preferably a recent photograph would be great. So please make sure that you do that. So let's take a look at the schedule. So on Monday, we will arrive. 10 o'clock is when counties will begin to arrive. We camp with two other counties. We camp with Woodford and Scott County. And so we arrive at 10, and I won't go through this in detail because it will extend this terribly long. But basically, what I'll do is just kind of hit the highlights. You all will be split into teams, and as we go through the schedule, you'll see which one of your cabins. If you have your cabin numbers, you'll know which team you're in as well. So we'll arrive, we'll unpack, get everything settled, get your beds made, and then we'll assemble the shelter house. Meals, we'll have 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, except for Monday and Friday. Monday we'll have lunch and dinner, and on Friday we will have just breakfast. We'll leave before lunch on Friday. But we'll have free swim, that will be for the even teams, and then Gold Rush, which is a scavenger hunt, get to know camp type activity. That'll be the odd teams. We'll have a time in between where the country store will be open. The country store, there is a list. I sent that out with the camper orientate or the camper newsletter. It was the last page, and so you can see what's in the camper or in the country store. But we'll talk a little bit about money and about food and snacks and things like that here momentarily. You'll rotate between those. We'll have flag lowering at 5:30, dinner at 5:45, and then we'll assemble at the shelter house. We'll have a carnival, which will be more games, and then we'll do Sally Down the Alley, and that's best an experience learned on that first evening. And then we'll have staff reflections back to the cabins around 9:30, and then 11 o'clock is lights out. Tuesday and Wednesday are our class days. And so 6 a.m. Tuesday, polar bear swim, rise and shine breakfast, flag raising. You'll do all four classes before lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll meet at the shelter house and have an assembly there to dismiss for lunch and our afternoon activities. So we'll have free swim and then also mega relay signups. Really, that'll be just going over the games. You'll have a little bit of cabin time that's there. And that cabin time, if we put cabin time on the schedule, that is for you to either be changing into, whatever clothes that you need for the next part of the day, or to get out of your swimsuits, or it's to give you a little bit of time to rest. We encourage that you rest as much as you possibly can. Camp, obviously, there's always the possibility of it being very warm, very hot. So if you can lay down and just rest in your bed for a little bit, sometimes that'll make you feel a lot better. Plus, if you don't rest, you tend to get a little bit cranky. And we want to make sure that any crankiness at camp can be easily avoided with enough food, water, and rest. Okay. So we'll have flag lowering in the evening, dinner, assemble at the shelter house. We'll go down to the field for mega relay. Those mega relay is just a series of games that you'll play as a team, competing against the other teams that are there. We'll come back up. You'll have an opportunity to go to your cabin and change. We'll have Sally Down the Alley again. Country store will be open. You'll see that that's souvenirs only. And and the reason we do that is because if we have food out on the floor where we do Sally Down the Alley, then sometimes that can become slick and dangerous. So we want to make sure that we keep all of that stuff off of there. But you are the person, campers, you are the one that's responsible for if you go in and you buy something, then you're the one that has to keep up with that. Or if you have a counselor that's willing to watch that stuff, that's fine as well. But ultimately, it is your responsibility to keep up with your things at camp. We'll have reflections. We'll go back to the cabins at 10 o'clock and then lights out at 11. Wednesday is basically the same, except we do not have polar bear swim in the morning. You'll see free swim. Water Olympic sign up is opposite of free swim. So you see the cabins or the teams, I apologize, that are going to be going to free swim the first session. And then those that will be doing Water Olympics will have country store open middle of the afternoon. And then free swim and Water Olympics will be switched for those teams in the next session. So, cabin time, flag lowering, dinner. We'll have Water Olympics that night. I would encourage you, as far as Water Olympics is concerned, is that understanding that anything that you take into the pool area has the very real possibility of not only getting wet, but getting absolutely drenched. So please make sure that anything that you don't want to get wet does not go inside the fence there at the swimming pool. We'll go back to the cabins after that. We'll change clothes, sally down the alley, um, and country stores open again. We'll do reflections back to the cabins for showers and everything else, and then 10 o'clock or 10 o'clock for that, and 11 o'clock lights out. Thursday is our sleep in day. So that's the day that we get a couple extra hours of sleep in the morning. Usually does everybody pretty good by that time. We have a muskrat swim. Polar bear swim is the early swim on Tuesday. On Thursday, we have a muskrat swim, which is just a little bit later in the day. And so that'll be at 8 o'clock. Rise and shine is not until 8:30, so you should get plenty of rest that day. And then the day is a little bit different because we obviously don't have all of our classes and things. So we'll have brunch a little bit later in the day. We assemble at the shelter house for our reward night announcements, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then you'll have free swim, basically 10:45, and at 1:15, you see that there. We have a heavy snack. Usually that's pizza that'll be in the cafeteria, but I'm not sure. We've not discussed that just yet. And then at 3:15, you all have a bonus class. Your bonus class will be on your name tag, and so it'll tell you where it is that you need to go for that bonus class. Um, we go back to the cabins. We start to clean up and begin the packing process, and we'll assemble at the shelter house, flag lowering, dinner, assemble at the shelter house for reward night. Reward night is will be working all week to collect points or coins for your team. And there's different ways that you can do that. You can win in those competitive events. You could do cleanest cabin. If your classes, if an instructor sees that you are doing a particularly good job in the class, they could give you points or coins. There's a variety of ways that you can benefit your team and to collect as many points as possible. So you want to do that. So reward night, essentially what happens is that you all will earlier in the week you'll rank 1 through 12 the different options, and I'll show you that sheet here in just a second. And then from there, if you finished fifth, then whatever your fifth choice was on your sheet, then you get that choice. Okay. We'll have reflections, the campfire that hopefully, depending on the weather, will be down at the lake. 10:45 is back to the cabins, and then 11:30, it's a late night, will be lights out. Friday, rise and shine at 7:15. We'll assemble at the shelter house for flag raising. Breakfast will be after that, and all teams will assemble at the shelter house after that. We'll do awards, t-shirt signing, and counties will load buses following the awards that are there. The chart that you see below the Friday schedule is the chart for all of the cleanup duties that you have. One of the things that makes camp run really smoothly at camp is that many hands make light work. And so we ask that all campers, adults, teen counselors, staff, agents, everybody that's there participates in some level of cleanup. So usually the best way for us to make sure that the grounds look great is that throughout the week, as we see trash on the ground, we pick it up and we throw it away. Or if you have trash that you personally have, you make sure that that ends up in a trash can. But there are certain areas that we need to make sure get cleaned up before we leave. And so there's your cabin or your team responsibilities. Most of your team responsibilities will be KP, which is kitchen patrol or kitchen party, as some people would call it. And that is essentially you just sweeping in and around the tables and then wiping the tops of the tables off. Your team will be required to do that at least once throughout the week. Then you'll have an additional cleaning assignment, and that'll be based on your cabin. The on the right hand side, you'll see that the teams are there, and you can figure out which cabins you're in. That'll be on your name tag, and so that'll tell you. It also have you whatever your team is in as well. This is the chart for reward night. And so it tells you a little bit there on the right hand side how you're going to be accumulating points and that it's a team award. And so these are the different activities. So before you get to camp, take a look at this and see if you can figure out which one it is that you would want your team to do and try and advocate for those and how you would rank them. Camp dress and dress code, modesty, of course. We want to make sure that everybody is covered. Appropriate clothing, obviously no profanity, alcohol, drugs, tobacco products, or insensitive displays on any of the clothing that you are going to have with you at camp. Parents, I encourage you to make sure you look through your child's suitcase or whatever they're packing to make sure that you see everything that you're taking to camp and that you approve of those things as well. Also, please make sure that you pack for the weather. If you look at the weather right now, depending on the weather app that you look at, it probably says rain. That could change in a week. So that could change in 10 days. And so when we get to camp, you want to try and look at 2 or 3 days away. Basically, a weather forecast is no good outside of 72 hours away from the time that you want to look at. So please make sure that you pay attention to what the weather is going to be closer to the time that we're going to depart, and you may want to pack accordingly to that. Also, pack according to your child. If you know your child is particularly gross and they are messy and if there's a mud puddle to be found, that they will find it, you may want to pack according to that as well. And that includes, your shirts, shorts, undergarments, your shoes, everything that you'd want to take. Please make sure that you pack a pair of shoes that are like a pair of running shoes or tennis shoes, whatever you want to call them. And you can also send a pair of Crocs or flip-flops, and those can be used in the shower or as they go to and from the pool. They should not be wearing flip-flops and Crocs to walk around at camp. Not because of anything other than we find that there's a lot of injuries when people are moving around camp and they have flip-flops or Crocs on, and they don't have a back on their shoes, so they tend to trip and fall around all over those. Cell phones, campers are absolutely 100% not allowed to have a cell phone at 4-H camp. Please do not send one to 4-H camp. Campers do not sneak one to 4-H camp. If we find that you do have a cell phone at camp, we will send you home. Adults and teens will have phones at camp for communication within camp. So I'll be communicating with all of our adult and teen counselors from Garrett County. In addition to that, we will have a group remind group so that the entire group of adults and teens from Woodford, Scott, and Garrett can be getting the same messages as far as what we'll be doing for the day. If there's any changes in the schedule due to weather, then we'll do that. They will not be letting your child use their phone. So please do not expect a phone call from their teen or adult that's in their cabin. That's absolutely not allowed. All phone calls should be coming from me. You can see my phone number is there, 859-509-6606. And so you can reach out to me anytime that you need to. That's fine. But all phone calls will come through me. Homesickness, your counselors, your teen and adult counselors have been trained on how to handle homesickness, and so they will do everything possible to make sure that your child has the best time at camp. And if there is any issues with homesickness, they've been trained to handle that. At a certain point, if homesickness is becoming too much, they'll bring the child to me. And like it says there in capital letters, I do not want your child to go home, but we do have to be reasonable. There's somewhere between 3 and 4 counselors in each of the cabins, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 to 16 campers in each of the cabins, which means that we have a really great ratio. Our camping ratio is either 1 to 7 or 1 to 8. In Garrett County, we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 4, 1 to 5. And so we do really good as far as our ratio is concerned, but we are not set up to where we can have individual counselors being with an individual child for the duration. So if that's a situation that we get into, then we may be calling home to have a discussion about what needs to happen next. So how do I handle homesickness? Essentially, I will have a conversation with your child about if there's anything else that's going on, whether that's an issue that they're having in their classes, whether it's an issue they're having in their cabin, whether it's something else entirely. If there's any other issues, I'm going to have that conversation because I want to know if there's an issue going on at camp. If there's something that's happening at camp that I need to know about, they need to let me know what's going on at camp. So I'll have that conversation. If they say no, nothing else is going on, I'm just homesick, we'll call home. I'll call home first, have a conversation with you. I'll send your child back to do whatever activity. And if they come to me again with homesickness, then we both will call. Uh, so I'll call you, I'll give your child the phone. You all will have a conversation in my presence, and then they'll hand the phone back to me. You and I will finish up that conversation, and then we'll figure out whatever the decision is. Essentially, the decisions are either your child is going to stay at camp or your child is going to go home. In the beginning, that's absolutely your choice. We want to make every effort we can for your child to go to camp and have the absolute most positive, wonderful experience they can at camp. But if it begins to become a consistent issue over and over again, then we'll make that phone call and you need to be available, or somebody needs to be available that's on your pickup release form that can come and pick up your child. If that happens, we don't anticipate that, we don't want that, but if it does happen, then that's where we'll be. Money and food, they do get meals every single day. In order to have a good time, they need to be healthy at camp, and so they must eat. And so refusing to eat consistently, like if they're like, oh, I don't like bacon, I'm not going to eat my bacon, we're not sending them home because they don't want to eat bacon. Okay. Although that is a punishable crime, I would imagine. How can somebody not like bacon? But anyway, so refusing to eat one thing, not a big deal. But if they are going an entire day without eating, if they're going an entire 2 days without eating, then that's becoming a health risk, and we'll give you a call at that time. There are snack times available every day. Also, the country store is on site for snacks and souvenirs. And so, if I were you and I was going to send money with my child, I would recommend not more than $20. But like I said, the country store form is at the very end of the camper newsletter that I sent out. And so you can take a look at that. And so if there's things on there that you're like, oh, they'd like to have a t-shirt, they'd like to have a sweatshirt or something like that, and you know that's going to be a little bit more money, that's fine. But please make sure that you send everything in small bills as well. Ones and fives generally work out really well. Also, they are responsible for their own money. So please make sure that you have a conversation with your camper about putting their money away in a secure place or keeping it with them, or however that needs to be done. But they are responsible for their money. So they do need to put it away and keep up with it themselves. As far as snacks are concerned, this is always a question. But as far as bringing snacks to camp, we do have some food allergies, some severe food allergies, peanut allergies on the campgrounds. And so we would prefer that if you're going to send food to camp, that you would send everything prepackaged and small packages too. So don't send like a gigantic family size bag of Doritos, but send individual bags of Doritos or something like that. But please stay away from things that would be as heavily peanut based, so that we can avoid any of those allergen situations. Social media, I will be the one that is taking pictures at camp. Your counselors in the cabins may be taking pictures as well, but they're going to be sending those pictures through me, and I'll be the one that is disseminating that information out. And due to some restrictions from the University of Kentucky in compliance with ADA standards, photographs will need to meet some basic criteria before they are posted to social media. And like it says there, I promise I will do my best. I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of social media outreach about, I just want to see my baby. I just want to see, are they having a good time? And I will absolutely do my best to take as many pictures as I possibly can. But it is a little bit more restrictive. And so I need to make sure that I'm meeting my obligation as far as making sure that it's meeting those basic standards and basic criteria for me to make sure that they are posted. Counselors should not be posting to social media with photographs, including children. Um, and then you will not see any video or photographs from inside of a cabin, inside of a bathroom, or at the swimming pool with kids as the subject. We may take pictures of the inside of an empty cabin, or like the empty swimming pool, just to give you an idea. But there won't be any pictures with kids that are the primary subject of any of those photographs or video. This is the essential standards and code of conduct. Everybody has signed a code of conduct and essential standards form. And this just basically is giving you an idea of these are the things that we ask that each camper be able to do at camp. We have all the faith in the world that they're able to do this. But a few of the ones that we want to make sure that we hit on. Hygiene, of course, is incredibly important. We want to make sure that everybody is bathing and brushing their teeth and taking care of those needs. Um, we also want to make sure that they're able to follow instruction. So if a counselor is giving them a direction and we're having a consistent issue with them following directions, then that becomes an issue. So please make sure that you have that conversation that they follow directions while they're at camp. Also, the resting or sleeping while they're at camp is really important. It is so valuable to get as much rest as you can, especially taking those opportunities at night. Lights out is at 11, and then you're going to get 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, and you need to get every bit of that. It's a lot of walking, it's a lot of moving around. And so we want to make sure that everybody is getting as much rest as possible. So please have those conversations with your camper. And campers, if you're watching this, please make sure that you understand that they can be very long days, and we want to make sure that you all have the best time possible. And the best thing that you can do is to eat, sleep, and drink plenty of water. And then if there are medications that they need to take and they're set on a schedule, that they need to make sure that they can take those medications. Our counselors will get a list of everybody who's taking medication, and they'll take them at the assigned times. Um, and so, with minimal assistance, your child should be able to take medication that's prescribed at camp, okay, or prescribed before they come to camp. So our return day is Friday, July 17th, not 2025, but 2026. We should be back at the Garrett County Extension Office at around 12:15. Please make sure you take only your camper's luggage and you pick up any medication you send with your child to camp. I would encourage you that if you know, hey, my child is going to take 4 pills, that you only send the 4 or 5 that you know your child is going to need while they're at camp. You don't need to send a full month's prescription to camp, but just send the amount that they're going to need. Another thing is my dad Jerry, will be driving the U-Haul truck, and so when you see him come back, please help him unload luggage. Um, you know, I know that you are anxious to see your child, your camper come back, and so but if you all could help him unload the luggage, that will make that process go a little bit quicker. And um, so it's important that you help. As far as coming back, I need to lay eyes on you and your camper, and I will be asking for ID. And so please make sure that you stop and see me, have your ID ready, and I'll just need to check your pickup release form and to make sure that I can release your camper into whoever's custody following that. Also, please do not be late. It is it's very hard on a child that comes back to camp and they have to wait an extended period of time. I understand 5, 10, 15 minutes, but please, if you're going to be late, just call the Gary County Extension Office, 859-792-3026, and at least give us a heads up so that we know that you're not going to be there exactly at the time that we're going to be returning. Um, a few more things. You have a camper at camp. So please be available to answer phone calls. So you've seen my cell phone number. You know that my cell phone number is I would put that in your phone. My name is spelled Eric, Eric, Comley, Comley, and go ahead and put that in your phone. And the reason is because, if I call, there's three reasons that I could be calling. One is a medical issue, and I need either to speak to you about that. Two is a disciplinary or some sort of discipline issue that's going on at camp. And three is maybe your kid has been the most amazing kid that we've ever had at camp. And I want to call and I want to tell you, hey, thank you so much for sending your kid to camp because they're that incredible. So please make sure that you have your phone on and the ringer on, and you're prepared to answer phone calls. If your child sleeps with a blanket, a stuffed animal, or has something for comfort, not a pet, not their phone, not their iPad, none of those things that helps them fall asleep, please send that. We want to make sure that they have the best time possible. We want to make sure that our counselors have the best time possible at camp. And so we don't want that to be a struggle. So if you're looking to separate your child from whatever it is that they sleep with for comfort, let's do that on the Monday after we get back from camp. If your child takes daily medication to regulate behavior, please make sure that you send that as well. Sorry about that. And then the four tenets of a good week at 4-H camp: hydrate. You must drink water. Okay. Campers, if you're listening, you must drink water. I know that you're like, oh, I can have a Coke or a Mountain Dew or something like that to drink. That's fine, but we have water available all the time. You should bring a water bottle with you. We have extra water bottles if you don't have a water bottle. So please, please, please make sure that you drink plenty of water. You should be eating food as well. You should be sleeping at night. And if there's a time during the day, during cabin time, and you need to get some rest, rest. And then the fourth thing, which is really the most important thing, well, not the most important thing, all the rest of those are more important than this one, but participating. Camp is so much better when you participate. If you're just standing idly by and watching everybody else around you have a great time, whether that's singing, dancing, participating in games, your classes, getting to know people at camp, whether you go down to the backyard, whatever it might be, participating in the full experience of camp will make that so much better. You'll get to know people. You have an incredible time. I've been going to camp since 1984. That's a long time. I've missed one summer, and that summer was the summer that we had a pandemic, and so I couldn't be there. So for 41 years, I've gone to camp, and I have loved every second of it. As an adult, as an agent, obviously there are different levels of responsibility, and those are always my biggest concern. But outside of that, I love going to camp. And now as an adult and as an agent, the value that I see in camp is how it changes kids and the time that they have at camp. So really, really participate, really, really value that experience. Items to consider while you're at camp: water bottle, maybe a small backpack would be a good idea. Shower shoes or flip flops. We talked about this a little bit. Not for truly walking around. You can wear them to and from the swimming pool, but they're not to be your everyday, all the time footwear. And then definitely for the shower, you want to make sure that you have some. Everything needs to be marked or labeled. Um, I'm not saying, don't go old school and you have to write their full name in the lining of their underwear or anything like that. But, everything should be marked or labeled. A good idea is to put outfits in individual gallon-sized bags, and that may help with the level of organization. Your child can reach into their suitcase or their box or whatever and say, okay, these are my Tuesday clothes. I can put these on, and that had to be written on the bag. And then maybe definitely send a trash bag so that they can put their dirty clothes in. We do not have access to a washing machine at camp for just general use. We do have one for emergency use, but a trash bag so that they can put that has their name on it, to stick a piece of duct tape and write their name on it, and they can use that um, for their dirty clothes. And then finally, and this is basically my mantra for everything that we do in 4-H, and it's definitely my mantra for camp. I cannot resolve, solve, rectify, empathize, sympathize, or give guidance on the issues that I don't know exist. If there's something happening at camp, and that could be good. Like, I mean, if you're having the best time of your life at camp, please come and tell me about that. But if there's something wrong, if there's an issue at camp, if you don't like a class, I mean, I may not be able to change it, but maybe I can figure something out. If there's an issue in your cabin, if something is going on, whatever it might be, tell your counselor and tell me. I want to know what those things are. I can solve issues at camp and be able to do that, and it reduces the amount of issues that we have when we come back. Um, so if you tell me about things at camp, I can do my best to try and figure those things out. If nothing else, we can have that conversation. Okay. But please, please, please reach out to me with any issues that you have at camp. So that's the end of the presentation. And so I'm glad that you all were able to sit in. If you have additional questions, please feel free to text me at 859-509-6606. You can also email me at eric, eric.comley, COMLEY at uky.edu. And I look forward to seeing you all on the morning of July 13th here at the Geary County Extension Office. Thank you very much.